Special coverage of January 6th, 1 year later. New CBS News polling shows sharp divisions in the way Americans view the attacks. So take a look at this split screen here. When we asked what happened at the Capitol on January 6th, 85% of Democrats called it an insurrection or trying to overthrow the government. But for Republicans, 47% said it reflected patriotism, and a majority said it was defending freedom. Republican Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland has been outspoken in denouncing the attack, and he joins us now. Governor, thank you for being here.
Good morning.
When I hear that phrase, defending freedom, I think that's what our military does against foreign adversaries, not what we do against one another.
Yeah.
How do we get to this position?
You know, it's hard to imagine that we could get to this position, and here we are a year later. I'll never forget that day when I got frantic calls from the leaders of Congress for us to come defend them with the Maryland State Police and the Maryland National Guard. And for people to think that this was defending freedom or that these were patriots when our very democracy itself was under attack. I mean, it's just crazy.
I have to say I do have sympathy for people being misled by leaders who they want to believe in. You elect somebody to office, you want to trust them, and we've had a president of the United States undermine and corrupt confidence in our election system. How do you get back from that?
Well, it's something that it's going to take a long time for us to overcome. And look, we can either embrace the truth of what happened with the election and what happened on January 6th, or we could be destroyed by lies. And it's amazing to me that many people have been misled, but it's been an incredible misinformation, disinformation campaign. But to think that these were patriotic tourists that were coming to look at statues when 130 some Capitol Police were assaulted, where we had 5 people die, where they were breaking through the windows of the Capitol, it's just it doesn't make sense. And we've got to put our country above party, and we take an oath to stand up for and defend the Constitution of the United States, and we've just got to tell it like it is.
I mean, who's the we in this? We've got William Barr, former Attorney General under Donald Trump, said in December of 2020 that there was no fraud that his department could find. The Department of Homeland Security under President Trump did not find fraud, said it was a secure election. So you have the message out there, the facts are available, but people are not taking them in. So who's the we that's going to change that?
Well, I think more leaders like me have to stand up and tell the truth, particularly Republican leaders. Look, if you look at what on January 6th and you go back and play some of the tape of all of the leaders of Congress on both sides condemning the attack on the Capitol and talking about, the president needed to call off these folks and that he was responsible for inciting some of this. And now it's as if everybody has deja vu and a completely different version of the facts. But just go back and play the tape. I mean, everybody knows what happened here.
I do think about Lindsey Graham saying enough is enough, count me out in the aftermath of January 6th, and then that senator from South Carolina saying the party cannot move on without Donald Trump. I think we have a question here from Gail. Gail?
I do, Governor Hogan. As you said, we just have to keep telling it like it is. But sometimes when you tell it like it is, people don't want to listen to you. So I know that, people are already looking to 2024. I'm wondering, I'm not going to ask you if you're going to run, but I am asking you if you're thinking about running.
Well, look, I think right now we're really focused on the events of today and what happened a year ago. I'm in the middle of a crisis with respect to Omicron, and I've got a year to be governor, and I'm not giving much thought to politics, frankly. But I am concerned about where we are as a country, where we are with the Republican Party, and I do think this is critically important for us to do something to fix the toxic, broken politics that we have here in Washington and across the country. And we've got to get my party back on track and get people to come up with a positive, hopeful vision for America rather than focusing on conspiracy theories about what happened in 2020.
I do think it's interesting, Governor, about getting your party back on track. It reminds me when I was in marital counseling, how 2 people can look at the same thing and come up with 2 totally different views. And the counselor would say, but that's his reality, that's your reality. And I would say, but he's not telling the truth. So what happens when people look at you can't deny facts. What happens when you tell it like it is and you put out the facts and people still don't believe? How do you change that mindset? I'm very confused and scared.
Well, I'm very worried about it too, Gail. And I think that it's hard to imagine that this many people have such an alternate view of reality. But we've got to keep standing up, and facts are facts. And look, John F. Kennedy once said sometimes party loyalty demands too much, and that we've got to put the country ahead of our own party sometimes. And I think we need more leaders willing to stand up and tell it like it is. But you're right. I mean, look, there's a real divide here in America. It's not just my party's not the only one to blame. I know Joe Biden said he was going to bring the country together, but we're more divided than ever, and both parties, the extremes of both parties are tearing the country apart. And today's a great day to reflect on some of the problems, but I want to focus on kind of a hopeful bringing people together, and we've got to fix what's going on because the country can't continue to go in this direction.
Governor Nate Burleson here, and as we reflect on January 6th, I am concerned. We are all concerned about where we are, but also concerned about where we are going. Our polls show that majority of the voters, they believe that January 6th was a sign of increasing political violence. Do you believe that there will be another insurrection like we saw a year ago?
Well, I think if we don't get to the bottom of what happened a year ago, and if we don't get people focused on the facts, if we don't do something to lower the temperature, the angry, divisive politics, I think we very well could be. I'm concerned that this could happen again, and I'll never forget that day. I was the Maryland State Police were the first ones to arrive. The Maryland National Guard came in to defend the Capitol, and we stayed here to protect the Capitol through the inauguration. I mean, this was the worst assault on our democracy that happened in my lifetime, and perhaps one of the worst in American history.
Governor, we all have hope, but we're in a situation where a majority of Republican voters say that they want a candidate who believes that there was fraud in 2020. Are candidates out there who are going to be running in the midterms and then in 2024, are they up for telling their own voters, actually, you're wrong?
Well, I think it's sometimes, people are afraid to tell exactly what happened because there's tremendous retribution. There are a few Republican leaders now in Congress that are standing up and telling the truth and explaining what happened, and they're viciously attacked. They're attacked on Twitter. They're being threatened, and they're being primaried, and the former president is endorsing people to run against them. And so, I mean, it takes courage, and quite frankly, we just don't have enough people standing up. But none of that bothers me. I'm going to stand up and keep telling the truth.
Yeah. We see retirements as well. The numbers are dwindling, but you're still here with us. Governor Hogan, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Nate, I'm going to send it back to you in New York.